What's up, A to Z Sports here live on a Friday. Going to have a good show, and some news happened by the Titans, and got to commend them. They did a good job. They did something that I did not expect them to do, really, this season at all, and that is cut tackle Nicholas Petit-Frere. So we'll talk about that. Kane asks, is this really newsworthy? This cut was expected by literally everyone. Not really. I don't think it was an expected cut, but we'll talk through the situation of NPF getting cut and what that means, what that represents, and other players whose jobs could be on the line entering NFL draft week, because there are some other guys that I've earmarked that I think need to be head on a swivel for what are the Titans going to be doing on day 3 of the draft, and are they going to be able to be replaced by a player younger, cheaper, and maybe better than what they currently have there on the roster at a couple spots. So, Sam, I'm curious to see which players you think need to be head on a swivel, jobs on the line as well. Going to have a good show talking about the draft. We're getting closer and closer and closer. There's also a kind of a bad taste in your mouth type topic we're going to have second about John Robinson's last 3 draft classes after NPF is gone and what that represents. And then ain't that good news to send us to the weekend. So Sam, welcome.
So bad taste in your mouth to real good taste in your mouth to wrap it up.
Yeah. That's how you do it. The good news is better when you get the bad out of the way, right?
Yeah, you got to get the vibes up. Yeah, going to be a good show this morning. I thought this was good work on your part, Austin, coming up with this idea. When you asked the question to me first thing this morning, I was really intrigued and really excited to answer it. So I think it's a fun conversation after the Nicholas Petit-Frere news. In lieu of that news yesterday, going to be a great conversation and great show. As somebody said earlier, we are Brett Kern days away from the Titans drafting Cam Ward. Is that 6 days away?
Well, I don't know. It depends on how you count. Like, is this day 1 or is there?
We're within a week of the Titans having Cam Ward be their draft pick at number 1 overall. So the hype is high. Get on board the hype train with us and share the show this morning. Hit that share button on Facebook if you're watching there. You can take a YouTube link if you're watching on YouTube and send it out to somebody, a friend who's a big Titans fan, a group chat that wants to get educated for the NFL draft. You can repost us on Twitter X as well, because we have the show links tweeted out there. So hit the repost, hit the share the link, whatever it is, hit the share button and hit the thumbs up, like on the show as well before we get it started here on a Friday morning.
Yep, let's officially welcome into A to Z Sports here live on a Friday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan, one of our Titans reporters for A to Z Sports.com. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Also, 5-star Google reviews. Saw another one come in via my email this morning, so appreciate that. But got to thank our sponsors, because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you. Like Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. And our friends at Bart Durham Injury Law. Crash can change your life forever. Help is just a click away, online at bartdurham.com. So yes, Sam, less than a week away from the NFL draft. We will be going live on Thursday night and Friday night for the NFL draft. I'm guessing 6:30-ish Central is going to be the first time, because the Titans are the first pick, so the draft starts at 7. It's just a weird gap thing.
No, but the draft starts at 7, but that's like the broadcast starts at 7, which is then like the commissioner puts them on the clock at like 7:15 or 7:20, and then the pick is announced at 7:30.
So should we start at 7?
What we'll need to do is we'll need to go back and look at last year's draft, see if we can find a version of the broadcast and figure out when that pick was actually public, because the last thing that I think we need is 90 minutes of pre-draft sitting there being like, all right, we're ready for Cam Ward, and then Cam Ward not coming around. But
so I have a cheat code. I have a draft cheat code of being able to Twitter search the pick number, the player name of the team, and find out the 7th overall pick is going to be around this time. based on last year's timeline. With the first pick, I don't know how to just type in Bears.
It'll be like 1 minute after the draft is open. Yeah.
But it's always like based on like the Adam Schefter tweet. So Bears select Caleb Williams. Let's see if I can get a tweet here we are for the first overall pick. That tweet came at 7:19 p.m. Central Time.
And do we think that was when it was announced or when Schefter got the scoop?
When let's see, here's Ian Rappaport. The pick is at 7:19 from Rappaport, 7:19 from Sports Center. So yeah, 7:19 was the pick.
So there you go. We can bank on that, probably in a similar range for the Titans and Cam Ward.
There you go. All right, so now on to the news of yesterday. Nicholas Petit-Frere is gone, waived
no mas.
Yesterday by the Titans. This from Jim Wyatt. The Titans have signed 2 offensive linemen, and then also released tackle
3.
Nicholas Petit-Frere. How about that?
3 offensive linemen actually signed.
Oh, 3. My goodness. The Twitter handles threw that off from the counting. So
go ahead.
So Nicholas Petit-Frere, Sam, I did not expect the Titans to actually make this move. I believe it was, I don't know, a few weeks ago, Easton and I had a conversation about who's going to have a bigger impact this season, Treylon Burks or NPF. That's a hard question to answer, but my answer was
point to Burks.
Yeah. Burks is currently looking around. We're like, well, I'm still here. And the reason why I said NPF as the answer to that question is because he was healthy. And, if Nicholas Petit-Frere is your 3rd or 4th tackle, okay. And I thought he would be their 3rd or 4th tackle. I'm anti-NPF. I think if you watched any of our stuff from last season, Nicholas Petit-Frere was a waste of space and a waste of talent because he didn't have the mindset to match his talent. And so I commend the Tennessee Titans for doing something I did not expect, which was cut NPF so early before the season. I appreciate that move by Chad Brinker, Mike Borgonzi, and Brian Callahan. That they didn't even allow NPF to accidentally stumble his way onto the roster by somebody else getting hurt or somebody else doing something, and NPF's just like, well, he's just here, so we might as well keep him. So golf clap from me to the Titans for cutting the fat of Nicholas Petit-Frere.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is an example of, Austin, what I say new head coaches and specifically new general managers want as much as possible, which is a blank canvas is sort of is the analogy that I use. If Mike Borgonzi is the artist that the Titans are paying to paint a picture of what the future of Tennessee Titans football looks like, right? He's stepping into a situation that already has all kinds of marks on it that he has to work around. It's like he's correcting a tattoo. You've got a bad tattoo that you're getting covered up. Well, you can get it covered up into a pretty cool image, maybe, but it's not going to be as creative and free-flowing as the artist would like because you got to work around all these marks that are already there. So what Mike Borgonzi is doing here is, could you have kept NPF on the roster as your 4th tackle? And, he's on a rookie contract and he's got some playing experience. Sure. Absolutely. I wouldn't have batted an eye at that. Neither would you. Like, that's fine. But I do think when you are trying to build an organization in your image, a fresh image, you are trying to paint this picture of what the future of Titans football looks like, identifying a player who you say can't play, can't hang, can't cut it, and getting rid of him just to take a chance on a different guy, right? Now, whoever that 4th tackle is, maybe it's a rookie that the Titans find in the draft. Maybe it's a rookie that they sign as an undrafted free agent. Maybe it's another veteran that they signed that Mike Borgonzi specifically identifies and likes a few of their traits. So you are removing the guy that can't do it, that you had no part in acquiring, and you're at least giving yourself the option to bring in somebody on your own accord. And I think that's a positive thing. I don't think teams do that enough, but it's nice to see Mike Borgonzi kind of taking action in a real weak area of this Titans football team.
100%. And then I've seen some people saying that Treylon Burks is next. And I tend to disagree. Because
why do you disagree? Let's talk through that.
Why I do not expect the Tennessee Titans to cut Treylon Burks before he returns to action.
Mm.
He's hurt right now, and he's returning from the ACL. When training camp opens, when Brian Callahan said, I think this was at owners meeting, Sam, while you were in your honeymoon excursion. I don't know what country you were in at that point overseas, but Brian Callahan said that they don't expect Treylon Burks to be ready for training camp.
Yeah.
So he's going to go on the PUP list, physically unable to perform, and he might sit there for a while.
Well, I think it's a situation where Burks being hurt is the thing saving him.
Yep.
Right? Like if he was healthy and he shows up to training camp, he's going to get cut at the end of training camp, like probably all most likely going to get cut. But if you're able to throw him on that PUP list and keep him there for an extended period of time, it sort of keeps him around. Caleb Farley, like the same thing happened with him for a while. He would have been cut, but then had some injuries and off the field stuff that kept him away from the football field. And all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, the Titans are still paying him. He's still around here somewhere. He's just not playing football. And that could be what we see with Treylon, at least into this season.
Yeah. It's same Colton Dowell a year ago. Same thing. Coach Will says Austin is still a part, or is it a part, or is it am I a part?
Are you a part of the Hive?
I am a part of the Burks Hive. So joke's on you, Coach Will. Grammar is important here because yeah, I am not a part of the Burks Hive. So there you go. I think Treylon Burks does not need to be on this team. And I think I agree with you. The reason why he will be is because he's hurt. And I think that's the Titans are going to do right by the player because, with Burks on the PUP list and on the roster, his contract is fully guaranteed. You're not saving any money by cutting him. So you might as well just allow him to train and to rehab within the facility because he's a part of the organization and put him on the PUP list, see how long he lasts there. Because, Treylon Burks isn't going to be around, I don't think. He's going into year 4. You've declined his 5th-year option. This is it. Whether he stays the entire season on PUP or he comes off mid-year and then maybe you trade him. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, and the other factor, because like Rooney said, why do it? Cut him, move on. Yeah, right. But like I think the Treylon, I would be surprised, Austin. I'll go ahead and say this. I will be surprised if he plays in another regular season game for the Titans. I don't foresee that happening. But my estimation is that number one, like you said, on the PUP list, contracts guaranteed. You're not saving any money by cutting him, and you want to do right by a player. That tends to be something that good front offices try to do. And so Burks, because you're not saving any money, you allow him to train in the facility, like you said. And number two, you don't want to cut a guy loose and make him a free agent when he's not healthy enough to actually go get a contract and like prove himself somewhere. Right. The thought would be like, you can cut Treylon once Treylon is healthy, and then he can try to get another opportunity to like get on a practice squad or something and fight his way back onto an active roster. But he can't do that if he's, actively injured and not able to play. And so I think the Titans probably hold on to him right until Treylon is back and ready to play football, and they start to have a financial that it starts to cost them. And once it starts to cost them, they'll cut ties.
Yeah. And if he's on injured reserve, then his salary is not as much. It's like half salary for being on IR, which he spent a lot of time in his career on injured reserve. So you haven't paid him as much of that contract. But it is a fully guaranteed contract for first-round picks. And so
and I don't think that's impossible, right? Like that he gets training camp placed on IR. He's done for the season. They allow him to – I mean, this is year 4 for Treylon. So, you're declining the 5th-year option. You allow him to train in the facility for the full year. He's a free agent at the end of the year. You don't have to cut him ever. And then he, can go and try and get himself a deal somewhere else to work his way onto a practice squad and extend his career if he so chooses.
No, to me, and I've kind of said this, I'm not reporting anything. This is my gut feeling, to be honest. I could see Treylon Burks being a Jake Locker, where Jake Locker, after his rookie contract, decided to hang it up, to retire. Like I could see Treylon Burks as somebody like that, where after the rookie contract, he has had zero success. He's been constantly injured. I don't necessarily think Treylon Burks loves the process of football. I think he might love catching passes on third down. I think he loves the touchdown that he scored in the NFL, but I don't know if he loves the offseason grind to get to the good moments in the season. So I feel like he is somebody to watch for a early retirement from the league and just to go do something else, which is totally fine. He didn't ask to be drafted in the first round. The Titans and John Robinson made that decision. But
he got his money. He bought a house out here in Tennessee. Like he's doing all right.
Yes, and just like Jake Locker was too. So like it's that's not how I operate. That's not how you operate. That's not how I don't think many people would like that. But that's Treylon Burks, and I just don't see him lasting long in the league after he leaves the Titans. But Sam,
sorry, but like especially not to piggyback off of the speculation here, but like it's one thing. I was stunned by, and I'm already forgetting bro's name. Right guard.
Oh, hold on. Sadiq Charles.
I was stunned by Sadiq Charles retiring, mainly because he was like a player that was in line to start. Like he still had plenty of NFL opportunity. He was not a high draft pick. He had played 3 years in the league or whatever it was, going into year 4, and at 24 years old was due to make $4.5 million. And all he had to do was make it through a football season, and he was going to get game checks of like $500,000 per. Like, to me, I'm like, well, duh. Like, duh, you're going to actually like play. So that was wild when you haven't made your money and you've got $4 million due to you to just make it through the year. You've gone through the offseason. You're halfway through training camp. Like, tough it out and get your bag. That was shocking to me. But if you're Treylon Burks, right, and realistically, what is the contract that he's going to get next year? Somebody's going to pay him the veteran. I don't even know if he qualifies for the veteran.
The absolute lowest amount for him.
The absolute lowest amount possible. He's going to have to like bust his ass in the offseason, bust his ass in training camp, work really hard to just try and like maybe fight for a spot on a practice squad and work his way onto a 53. And when he's on the 53, he's not going to be like he's a wide receiver 2 getting 4 or 5 targets a game. So is that worth it to somebody who already has their money to get a couple extra $100,000 on like a game check every week? I don't know. I don't see that being super worth it for him.
Yeah, this might be news to you because you were out for a bit with wedding and honeymoon. But
Sadiq Charles came out of retirement.
He unretired.
What?
Yeah. So there was something.
Wait, whoa! We did not go over that on my. I remembered, by the way, because we did that recap show, catching Sam back up, blah blah blah. Yeah. We didn't go over that. That should have been the headline. We should have led with Sadiq Charles came out of retirement because I'm. That's so funny. Signed with the Cowboys. Why? What are you doing? Did he just hate Bill Callahan that much? He was like,
but Bill Callahan was the reason why he signed here because he was with Bill Callahan in Washington.
He's making me work really hard. I don't want to do that. No, he didn't work with Bill Callahan in Washington. He worked with Randy Jordan in Washington.
I'm pretty sure Bill Callahan was there. Bill Callahan was a part of the Washington staff when he was drafted at LSU. I feel very confident about that.
I thought Callahan had been in Cleveland for a while, but I could be very wrong. So, I'll trust you. Anyway, that is shocking development that a guy just gave. And I'm sure he gave out, like he got the league minimum to go to the Cowboys, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So he had 4.
Charles had enough of Bertha. He
had enough of Bertha. Gave up $4.5 million to take 5 months off the job to then. I mean, that's crazy. The other thing we didn't talk about, and I don't want to derail the entire show all the way, but Joey Sly. What was the reaction to Joey Sly? Was that talked about on the show? Because bad move, in my opinion.
No, we did not talk about the kicker yet.
Why?
I don't know.
Nick Folk
there was also a time that I was out while you were out too, so I don't know.
I mean, Nick Folk was awesome. I don't know why they're going to a less reliable guy than Nick Folk. I don't understand that one.
Age. John Bones Fossil. I don't know.
Well, Bones making a lot of moves on the special teams side of things that I don't necessarily agree with. So
he sure is. By the way, Sadiq Charles was not drafted by Bill Callahan. He just left Washington for the Browns that year, so they just missed each other. So that was close.
Yeah, anyway, the guy that advocated for him was Randy Jordan, who had seen that interior blocking for his running backs.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And Randy Jordan gave a huge endorsement to Sadiq Charles when he joined the staff over here. That is, can we pay a Dallas reporter out there somewhere to ask a couple questions? Yeah. So why'd you just quit on the Titans 2 weeks before the season? We would love to have that answer.
He ghosted him. He just did not respond. He was even more ghosted than Nico. He just didn't even respond.
No response. Punted his $4.5 million. Maybe went on a silence retreat somewhere for 6 months, and then all of a sudden is back ready to be a Dallas Cowboy.
There you go.
It's because he can play inside.
Yeah, right, in the dome. So let's ask this question. With NPF cut, there are other players, I think, that could be replaced through the draft. So let's ask this question. What Titans player is most at jeopardy of losing their job through the draft outside of Will Levis? Because that's the obvious. Will Levis was the starter last year. Now Cam Ward's going to be the guy. So we know that's going to be the case. So outside of Will Levis, what other Titans player is most at jeopardy of losing their job through the NFL draft? So we'll get to your comments here in a moment. First, I want to tell everybody about our great friends at Bart Durham Injury Law. A crash can change your life forever, but help is just a click away and a phone call away. First of all, you can go to bartdurham.com to find out how Bart Durham Injury Law can help you. You can call them, which is the best and easiest way to get a hold of an attorney to help you through whatever your situation is. The phone number is 615-242-9000, 615-242-9000. You deserve to be paid for what you've gone through. Your big truck wreck or any car accident is Bart Durham Injury Law's fight for justice. And so you can always get help there. You can visit the website, as I mentioned, for current news and blogs. You can also contact and live chat there if you don't want to call. But they've been in business since 1975. That's 50 years plus of experience. And Bart Durham, who passed away just about a year ago, just over a year ago, had the anniversary of that 1 year passing earlier in the month. Blair Durham, his son, Marine veteran and great Nashvilleian, is doing tremendous work. Rally on the Runway. Bart Durham Injury Law was a big sponsor of that last week as well, for helping children cancer as survivors as well. So they've got you right there. 615-242-9000 is the phone number, bartdurham.com.
All right. Do us a favor here this morning on a Friday morning. Go ahead and leave a like on the show. What are you doing if you're watching the show and not leaving a like on it? This is a good show. All right. This every day on A to Z Sports is a good show, but I feel like Austin and I have been rolling this morning. So hit that thumbs up. We're looking at the numbers right now. I need to see that number start ticking up. And I remember where we were at yesterday, and today's show needs to beat yesterday. Okay. And so that's the challenge, is we have to get over that number yesterday. And I'm not even going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to get it on your own. Leave a like on the show and hit subscribe on YouTube as well if you're watching on YouTube. Just one click of a button to help us out over here at A to Z Sports.
Okay, so with Nicholas Petit-Frere cut.
I love this question. Austin, again, I love this question. I
think it's really good. Now, here's the hard part.
This is great work from you. This is awesome.
Here's the hard part. The Titans have a very bad roster. So there's not a ton of guys who are in permanent marker in their spot,
Yeah.
But which Titans player outside of Will Levis is most at jeopardy for losing their job through the draft? I have one answer. I've seen it pop up quite a bit in the chat. Sam, I'll send you to the chat to get what people are saying on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Big Ten Jeff comes in. Treylon Burks.
He doesn't have a job.
Arden Key, Tajay Spears, Van Jefferson, L'Jarius Sneed, Treylon Burks, Jeffrey Simmons, which we've talked about a little bit this week on the show. L'Jarius Sneed, Treylon Burks, Arden Key. Sneed can go. Simmons via trade.
Which that counts, right? Losing their job.
If he's traded away,
the draft. Yes.
Right. Especially because you would assume if Simmons is traded away, they're going to draft somebody to replace him. So that is a very clear, that counts. Yeah. Tony Pollard, Burks and Key. Linebacker 2. Austin, blind reaction. Who's the linebacker 2 right now?
Cedric Gray by default.
Maybe. Yeah. Otis, Cedric. One of those guys.
Not James Williams. He's behind those two.
I
would say it's Cedric Gray at the current moment.
I think they might go into camp with it as Cedric Gray just because they're like, we used the top 100 pick on him. Yeah. Almost top 100 pick.
Yeah. One was.
But I think James Williams passes Cedric Gray by the end of camp. James Williams is my guy that I'm backing a lot here before the season.
I like James Williams.
Yeah. Chig from Michael. Simmons from Ethan. Chig from Jeff, who he's now answered twice. Key from Darius. Key from Amar. Amani Hooker. Interesting answer, Amani Hooker. We can get into that, I'm sure. Spears and Burks. Sneed, if he gets into more trouble, Sneed will get traded. Chig, Tajay, Arden Key. Sneed will be traded.
Jackson. Okay? Let's pause on this. Who is going to trade for L'Jarius Sneed?
Yeah, I don't.
Because let's say, he's got the triple threat of untradeable things going on right now. Because
off the field issues, injury concerns, and a bad contract.
Boom. Yes, those are the 3. Exactly. Yeah. And the off the field issues involves a firearm being somebody being shot at, and so it's all very serious. And you can add not very good in the first 5 games before he had the injury. So yeah, who is trading for that guy? Nobody.
Yeah, I don't, especially not now, right? I think you want to see a little proof of concept from Sneed. If he plays well at the beginning of the year, deadline maybe, he doesn't have guaranteed money in 2026. His money for 2026 guarantees on the 5th league day of next year. So he's a rental for somebody. I could see that happening for sure if the Titans get off to the start, a slower start to the season. But Jackson, this is Jaquan Jackson, certainly.
You would think so. I
think he's penciled in. Is he penciled in right now as punt returner? Is that what we're talking about?
No, they got James
Prochet's gonna play punt return, I would say. Yeah. So Jaquan Jackson might already be replaced.
Jaquan Jackson is pre-cut currently.
I would agree. Let's talk about the Amani Hooker situation real quick. Okay. I saw that name multiple times. I don't think Amani Hooker goes anywhere.
No, he's
safety
arguably
1. So
he's arguably their most trustworthy defensive player.
Yeah, I would agree. And you have to refresh my memory again. They did sign a safety,
Xavier Woods.
So I
play next to him.
Is the argument that if you draft a safety that
at 35,
Hooker could be on his way out? I mean, if it's Xavier Watts and you want to go with X squared, which would be such a sick. I just came up with that off the top of my head. Xavier Woods and Xavier.
Yeah, that would be sick.
That X squared. That's the coolest nickname in sports, maybe.
Yeah, and then you can have X going to give it to you a highlight package with dudes getting knocked out over the middle of the field.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool.
Wait, I actually kind of want Amani Hooker gone now, just for
the.
I need the highlight package. That's so sick.
But no, Amani Hooker's not losing his job. That would be an upset, right? That's a long shot.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. That's definitely not up there on my list.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what's the name for you, Austin? Who's the name here?
It's been mentioned a couple times.
I had one pop into my head as well, and I'm hoping we don't have the same one.
Yeah, I have a second, but the first is more interesting.
Okay.
I think Tajay Spears is in real jeopardy.
That's mine.
I think because you brought this up. What was it? I can't remember if it was the Senior Bowl or the Combine, where you're like, they're talking about running back. Yeah.
We've sort of stopped talking about it, right? And so I understand that the idea from the idea from the Titans, at least what they're saying publicly, is that the running back that they go get is not going to be invasive on Tajay's role. They're looking for a power back, somebody who can, carry the ball in short yardage situations. However, they really liked Tony Pollard last year. We went into the draft saying we went into the season saying Pollard Spears 50-50 split in the backfield. Right. And then Tajay had an injury and his vision wasn't as good as you would have liked it to be. He seemed to regress a little bit. And then Pollard was way better than we expected and had himself a really strong year and ended up taking like 70 to 75% of the touches in the backfield. So you really cut into Spears last year. And yes, he had some injuries. He had some issues to deal with. You still can like the player. But if we're looking to add a running back that we're already intentionally going to be giving short yardage carries to, in my eyes, it's like, I don't think they're going to want to decrease the workload on Tony Pollard. I just think this is going to cut in to Tajay Spears. And by the way, if this power back is also good in pass protection, right? Now he's got a chance to be more of the third down guy, which is what Tajay already does. And maybe he impresses in camp and does better than expected. And then you originally intend for Tajay to get some carries and then the role just isn't there. We seem to have forgotten that the Titans are looking at the running back position. And I don't know if it'll be Scattaboo or somebody of that good. I mean, I would hope it's Jordan James. Jordan James is awesome. He's a local guy. If they draft Jordan James, though, Jordan James or Judkins, right? As Jeff says, those guys are guys that are coming in and are immediate impact guys. They're getting a good amount of carries, and I don't think they're your RB3 on a team. So Spears is a guy who I think we could be talking about as being on the outside looking in after the draft.
Yeah, because I'm with you. My whole philosophy is that if you do draft a running back for that role, then what's the purpose of Tajay? And I like Tajay Spears a lot. I really do. I think he's interesting. I think he's dynamic. I think he's a fun personality. He's obviously a fun personality with what they are able to do with like the social media team and goof off with Tajay, that kind of stuff. But I think, the knees were such a concern coming into his NFL career, but the concussions are an actual issue.
Yeah.
And he already was wearing the Guardian cap, and unfortunately his season was ended in week 17 when he had his first 100-yard game and then got knocked out. And immediately in the post-game interview, Brian Callahan was like, yeah, he's done for the year. There's only one game left, but when you know a concussion is going to knock you out for the next game, it's over.
Yeah.
And so I'm worried about what his concussion situation is.
He just has not been reliably on the field enough where if you're the Titans right now, you need to grab another back that you think can play 17 for you and can be there to help Tony Pollard out. And Tony Pollard's not getting any younger. I mean, I think Tony Pollard has maybe one more year left with the Titans before you decide to get younger at that position too. So if you draft a guy this year and you are using him in the backfield, you could go and swing a little bit higher on a guy like Judkins or a guy like Scattaboo, somebody like that who you think after 1 year could become the primary back as well, and you grow him into that role. So I think there's a lot of options, and it's a really deep running back class. So yeah, I can't get the Tajay thing out of my head. I think he might be he's on the hot seat here for me.
He's in a tough spot. So my other one, because that was your answer, right? So we both had Tajay Spears.
Sure, yeah, let's go with
my other one, and this is not like a big name or anything, but I think I was going to go into what you just favorited in a second.
We'll talk about that.
Keandre Coburn, I think, or whoever that veteran defensive tackle, I think is somebody, if Jeffrey Simmons is not moved, which the expectation is that Jeff won't be traded, but it could, there's a potential for it. I don't expect it to happen. You don't expect it to happen. But I think Keandre Coburn or one of these veteran D linemen could be booted by drafting a day 3 defensive tackle who's pretty active. So that would be my other option here of Keandre Coburn could be out of a job.
Yeah. What is it? Coburn? Is it SJD? Is it somebody that gets, I don't expect it
Sebastian Joseph Day would be a hard one for me to cut because they decided to re-sign him.
Yeah, to a 1-year deal though. And so
sure. But you could say both. You could say the answer is Sebastian Joseph Day or Coburn and combine those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, somebody, right? If Simmons is kept, they clearly have interest in those defensive tackles. They draft one and that rotation has to change. And you like being deep at that position, but I don't think you realistically, even if you keep 5 on the roster, you don't have 5 guys that are getting snaps. And so, there's going to be some changes made to that line if you add one in the draft. And it's a position that they're telling us through their visits that they're interested in. We have a big super chat from Noah. Yeah. I also want to go up to this conversation with Caps real quick because this was a really popular answer. Arden Key was a really popular answer in the chat for a guy who's going to lose his job. Here's why it's not Arden Key, as Cap says. Arden Key is going to have a job regardless. His job is just going to look more similar to the 2023 version of Arden Key than 2024 Arden Key. When the Titans signed Arden Key, they wanted him to be their third down speed rusher that goes and gets after the quarterback as his primary responsibility. He's not supposed to be an every down guy, and the lack of talent that they had in that room last year forced him into that position to be that. So while the Titans are going to draft an edge and theoretically, hopefully early enough to have it be an impact player, and then you have Draymond Jones, insert new edge here, and Arden Key, and maybe that makes Key your edge 3. Key is going to be on the field on third downs. Like, that is going to be his primary responsibility. He might even be on the edge and on third downs instead of Draymond Jones because he does better, at rushing the passer strictly than Jones does, who's good at setting the edge and defending the run and kind of working inside and is a little bit more well-rounded. But he is still going to have a role to me, and I don't consider him to be somebody who's like losing his job.
Yeah, well, and 2, the only way that Arden Key loses a starting role, I think, is if they draft an edge player at 35.
I don't know if I agree with that, but
you think there's a way they could get an edge?
I think they can trade out of 35 and get one at 45 or 50 something.
Second round. Okay, I'm using 35 to represent second round.
Yeah, I mean, you're not drafting a guy at 103 or whatever it is that you're actually anticipating to be a starter for you at edge. Maybe a rotational guy at edge, sure, but not a surefire day one starter.
Totally agree.
If you get Donovan Ezaraku and he falls to the second round and you can nab him at 35 and they do that, I think Donovan Ezaraku is a plug and play edge that is a starter in your defense, and you feel good about that. But I still think Arden Key's on the field on third down. I still think he's in the rotation.
Agreed. All right, Noah's big super chat. Anyone saying Burks needs to think about cap implications and the already extremely depleted depth at wide receiver? Lost D-Hop, Boyd, and NWI. Even with a wide receiver in the second round, Burks would probably be tied with Van in the depth chart. Like, all of that is true. And the fact that Treylon Burks is still recovering from the ACL injury and isn't expected to be ready for training camp.
I mean, a healthy Treylon Burks right now is like, what, wide receiver 3? Like,
by default. But a healthy Treylon Burks right now.
But like, we forget, and this is another thing that's not talked about, because I said it with Easton earlier, is Van Jefferson is still the wide receiver 2 on this team. Like, people are really quick to write an edge at 35 or trade out at 35. And I assumed they were going to do something at wide receiver. When I talked to Brian Callahan at the NFL Combine, I asked him, what kind of wide receivers do you want to add to this team? And he just said, more of them. We just need more of them. And they've added one. Sorry, no offense, James Prochet. One in Van Jefferson, who's, had a really down year last year, is like nowhere close to a wide receiver 2, probably not even a wide receiver 3. He's probably a wide receiver 4 right now. And that's all you have with Calvin Ridley. You let NWI go. D-Hop is gone. Tyler Boyd is gone. As Noah points out here, you have to add wide receivers, and they haven't signed any of them. So
I think, to me, this is a different topic, but we can kind of have the conversation now. Who's the Tyler Boyd of this year, right? Because Tyler Boyd was a post-draft signing, and a lot of times that type of receiver, the veteran who got cut, doesn't want to go and sign until after the draft because they want to find where's their best opportunity. And so there's Tyler Lockett is also out there, right? He kind of fits that veteran guy savviness that could be an option after the draft to go sign somewhere.
Well, and right, like I think this is a position the Titans could address in training camp, like right before the regular season with training camp cuts. Like I can see that happening.
Yeah, agree.
Let's see. Let's go to let's see if I can find available wide receivers right now. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett.
Amari Cooper is available?
He is. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd could be the Tyler Boyd. Elijah Moore is one that I still would like to see the Titans go and make happen.
Nope.
No?
No thanks.
Sorry. All right. Well, DJ Chark, Nelson Aguilar, Jamison Crowder, Titans legend Chris Conley. That's about it in terms of like actual NFL guys. But I mean, Lockett, who says no to Lockett? You know, Lockett could work. What is the locker room issue with Deontay Johnson? Is the upside of Deontay Johnson is like,
nah.
Talk about a wide receiver too. You could draft. I mean,
no. There's no reason why.
Hey, like, Kyle Williams or Jalen.
How many teams cut or traded Deontay Johnson last year?
Like 3.
Yes.
But he also had like 10 catches and 130 yards in week 1 of last year. Like he can still play.
Nah.
Take Jalen Knoll or Kyle Williams. Sign Deontay Johnson. Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson.
Nope.
Insert slot rookie.
If you do one of those guys, then sign Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, but he's your slot guy. And then you can't get Williams. I guess Williams can line up outside, but he's better in the slot. So is Knoll.
There's no way I'm getting Deontay Johnson.
Emeka Egbuka falls to at 35, and you take Egbuka and sign Tyler Lockett, and then Cam Ward's got like an actually really good receiver room.
Yeah, call it a day.
Egbuka, Lockett, and Calvin Ridley. You're like, whoa, hey, I'm excited to see that now.
Yeah, this ain't half bad. They ain't half bad. Yeah, Deontay Johnson, no thank you. There is no chance that I would want any. And Palace is like, right, Tyler Lockett's a pro. You need a pro's pro in there too. There's value to that. Just like there was value.
Tyler Lockett want to go to the Titans. Like, does Tyler Lockett want to go to a contender at his
Tyler
age?
Lockett would probably want to go to whoever's going to pay him the most money at this point.
Sure.
So, all right, let's get to this next question because the Titans, John Robinson's draft classes just continue to age poorly. And they were already bad to start, but now we've got this recent update from Nick Suss, the Tennessean, with Nicholas Petit-Frere's release. The Titans now just have 3 out of 23 players drafted in the 3 years of 2020 through 2022 on the roster. The only team with a lower percentage of that class is Arizona. Yeah. And the highest percentage is 20 of 22. The Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, and the Bengals, which is also pretty wild. Drafting matters, says Suss, which, yes, drafting matters. That's why a big reason why John Robinson is out of a job, because that post-COVID drafting from John Robinson was so bad. It was laughably bad. 3 out of 23 guys left is so crazy with that. And so there are we've named the 3, and they're all from the 2022 class. 0 from 20 or 21 class remain. It is just Treylon Burks, Chigakonkwo, who you saw on that screen, and Roger McCreary. So now I want to ask this question. Which of the 3 post-COVID J-Rob picks remaining will last the longest with the Titans? Burks, McCreary, or Chig? Burks, McCreary, or Chig, which will last the longest? I've got an interesting way to answer this, but first, the Bone and Joint Institute is where you should turn. boneandjointtn.org for any type of injury that you have. They can help you get back off the sideline of life and not have to deal with a nagging pain or the nagging injury that's causing you to alter some things that you're doing. It's causing you to not have to or to not be able to exercise the way you want, to not be able to hang out with your family, play with your kids, grandkids, whatever it may be. The Bone and Joint Institute can take care of you. They've taken care of me with a couple injuries in the past. online, boneandjointtn.org. That is the website to book an appointment. They are also investing more and more in the community and will continue to do that throughout their years serving Middle Tennessee, Williamson County, Southern Kentucky, and even Northern Alabama if you need them. So check them out online, boneandjointtn.org.
All right, it's the Lou Man special time. Go to Google, leave us a 5-star Google review. Help out A to Z Sports for our shows, for our online content as well. Just go to Google, hit a 5-star review. So if you're somebody who's with us every morning, if you're listening to the shows, if you're enjoying all of the draft coverage and getting educated about all the prospects that could end up in two-tone blue, do us a favor, leave a review. Wow, little rhyming there. Go to Google, 5-star review, helps out more than you know on a Friday morning.
3 John Robinson draft picks from 2020 to 22 remain out of 23.
5 total as
5
well
total.
remain. Hooker and Simmons, and then Burks, McCreary, and Chig.
Right. That's crazy. 5 out of – now, obviously, you don't keep players around super, super long in the NFL like that. But, yeah, of recent, there should be way more than 3. So the question, which of the 3 post-COVID J-Rob picks will last the longest of the Titans? Your options are Burks, McCreary, or Chig. I'm going to put up a YouTube poll. I feel like we haven't done a YouTube poll all week, which is weird for me. So, Sam, what are you seeing from the chat?
All right, let's see. I'm really interested in where the chat goes here. We have McCreary, Chig, McCreary, Chig from Ethan, Roger from Jaron, McCreary from Bork, McCreary from Titans Kyle, McCreary based on demand, McCreary from John McDaniels. We got McCreary from Jason, Roger easily. A lot of Roger McCreary. That seems to be the overwhelming answer. Ashley and Jesse and Palace. Chig from Michael, Chig from Chris. But yeah, most people on Roger McCreary Austin. Ed says Treylon Burks. So,
Jeff asks Austin, you know the questions aren't posting on Facebook, right? Yeah, I know. The YouTube polls are YouTube polls. That's why I call them YouTube polls and not Facebook polls. Facebook doesn't have poll options. Take it up with Zuckerberg. Sam, what's your answer?
The questions are posting. All right, yeah. So this is a weird one. Gut check to me. This is all it is. It's a gut check. I'm gonna go with Chig.
Okay.
I think Chig outlasts Roger. I mean, both of them are in a contract year this year. They're both free agents next year. Who's the most likely to re-sign with the Titans? To me, it is Chig, who I think likes it here a lot. I think can have a role here a lot. Their thing with Roger is a starter. Roger is a pretty good starter. I think Roger knows that he's a really good starter, but the Bears just set the market for inside cornerbacks. 3 years, $40 million for Kyler Gordon. I don't see the Titans giving that contract out to Roger McCreary, and I think somebody probably will, with that now being the new market rate for this guy. So because of the demand, because, I think nickel corners are also relatively, replaceable. I think I can see Roger leaving. Chig, whether he's your starting tight end or not your starting tight end, regardless, I think, he's proven a little bit more resilient than I thought. Everybody sort of assumed Josh Wiley would take over as sort of the king of the tight end room, and Chig has fought him off and stayed improving throughout his career. So nothing other than gut, but I'll say Chig.
Sam, I'm going to say that none of the 3 will be around after this season.
I think that's also a fair call. I think that's a really fair call.
So I think the answer is none. They're all going to last the same amount of time with the Titans, 4 years. But I do, with your philosophy, I agree. Chig is the most likely of the 3 to get an extra contract after the year.
Chig is a guy to me that, I think the Titans will value Chig more than other people in the NFL will potentially value Chig. And so for that reason, similar to NWI, who kind of kept getting renewed to come back or whatever, I can see Chig getting another 1-2 year deal to stay in Tennessee and have a role here. But I think Roger McCreary is good enough at a position that's valued enough that somebody's going to pay him. And Mike Borgonzi not drafting Roger McCreary and probably not wanting to spend that big of money on a nickel corner at this stage in like the Titans rebuild, I think that one is less likely to happen. Because if you don't have a good option at tight end, like if you don't have a realistic good replacement option for Chig, he's better than replacement level, I think. Or at least is replacement level to be a second tight end or something.
Yeah, here's the extra, I guess, feather that Chig has in his cap is if he has an instant or solid connection with Cam Ward, they're going to keep that around.
Totally. Yeah.
Roger, I agree, is a replacement level. Again, Roger's a good player. He's a hard-nosed player.
Above average, right? Like, and I'm right close to this this Kyler Gordon situation. Like, I like Kyler Gordon as a player. Is he worthy of being the highest paid inside corner in the NFL? Probably not. But we know that this is what the market does, right? The market goes up, and that new guy that needs to get paid gets paid. And so I guarantee you the next like inside cornerbacks, these nickel defenders are going to be looking at that $40 million number for Kyler Gordon. And they're going to be wanting 10, 12 per year.
So, wrong comment. William says, Sam, draft and retain. He's good enough to be retained. I'm guessing this is about McCreary.
I agree he's good enough to be retained. It's not about the Titans not wanting to retain him, though. I mean, I don't put it past McCreary to want out, right? Like to want to get a fresh start, go to a different team, go to a different organization that might be ready to win, get some get your payday, right? Like all of those things can be attractive to a guy like Roger.
Well, I think it's what is the situation like for the Titans at the position after this year? Snead's under contract. I don't remember exactly when the out is for Snead. It might be after this year.
That was part of the reason too, right? Is there is an out in terms of like no guaranteed money after this year. But if Snead bounces back, how the Titans want Snead to bounce back, we'll see. But there's a chance that happens, in which case he's obviously a really, really solid corner. Jarvis Brownlee, you like, but I think the Titans have even said like Jarvis can play inside, and they're down to have Jarvis play inside. So there's options there. Chig maybe is not your number one tight end forever. He's probably not your number one beyond this season. But I think Chig can also be valuable in a situation similar to how he was used in 2023 when Austin Hooper was here. Austin Hooper does a lot of the inline stuff, does a lot of the blocking. He's a more reliable target on third down when you got to have a first down. But if you're trying to hit an explosive, like Chig is I think Noah said it in here, he's a big slot and has good athleticism and explosive speed that could be fun in an offense. And like you said, if he's got chemistry with Cam Ward, that's another thing too. I would not be surprised if you are on it here and all of them are gone.
Yeah, I don't think
2025. But if there is one that you're going to bring back, I could see it being Chig, maybe just in a smaller role.
So here's the other thing too, is that with the Snead caveat to the Roger McCreary conversation, Snead has zero guaranteed salary in 26. So this is his last year of guaranteed base salary via over the cap. If something happens with this shooting accusation situation with L'Jarius Snead in the state of Texas, if there's somehow a suspension that comes down, which I don't know how it's going to happen because the police report was redacted. So there's some confusing, complicated things with the situation legally. But if there's a suspension, then all of that's out the door. The Titans can really move on from Snead a lot easier or quicker. So there would be an option for McCreary to be around. It just depends on what the price is. And who they draft at corner this year that will be valuable as a second-year player next year with Jarvis Brownlee Jr. as the third-year guy beyond this year. So but I think odds are all three are gone. Now, the YouTube poll, overwhelming, 70% Roger McCreary, 23% Chig, 6% Treylon Burks.
Let's go, 7%. Look at the backing for Treylon.
I don't know who's doing that.
All right. Austin, I was going to ask you earlier. We didn't get to it, but we can do it here before we get to good news. What do you know about these signings?
I do not know how to pronounce 2 of the 3 names.
All right. Who do you not know how to pronounce?
I know how to pronounce Brendan James.
All right, Brendan James. Well, there's a former Bear there. His name is Sam Mustipher. So, and then we have, I would say it's probably Oli Udo.
Okay.
All 3 of these guys, kind of weird to have like a dump of like 3 signings that just like happen at the same time like this. All 3 of these guys are NFL players that have played in the league last year, as recently as last year. Mustipher,
it's good.
3-year veteran. 3 years with the Bears. He was a starting center for the Bears from 2020 to 2022. Went to Baltimore, where he played in 9 games and started twice. Last year, played in 12 games, started once for the Chargers. 105 snaps at center for the Chargers last year, 202 for the Ravens the year before that. And then, of course, he had multiple years as a starter in Chicago, an undrafted guy out of Notre Dame. Brendan James, a 5th-round pick of the Chargers in 2021. He is listed as just an offensive lineman. He's played tackle guard, kind of fluctuated in between. 46 games over the last 4 years, only 3 starts. He's played 274 total offensive snaps, primarily with 3 starts coming at guard for the 2023 Chargers. Oli Udo was a 6th-round pick of the Vikings in 2019. So he's played 6 NFL seasons, spent 5 years in Minnesota. In 2021, he started 16 games at right guard. Was actually pretty good in his starts there. Had an approximate value of 7 that year. Went back to the bench for Minnesota. Last year was with New Orleans as a reserve. So he's played 1,436 career snaps, tackle, but his biggest year was at right guard for the Vikings. So some guys that are sort of flexed offensive linemen, and then Mustipher a backup center to maybe give Corey Levin a little competition.
Yeah, I think you're trying to find out who are your offensive linemen 6 through 8, 6 through 9.
Yeah. Well, I like this idea though. I mean, like adding, you've got like the starting group set already, right? I mean, like that, as far as we know, like right? You feels like you've got it set. And so now you're bringing in, you have young guys on the roster, right? John Ojukwu going to be Jalen Duncan. These guys are going to be fighting for spots, right? Corey Levin, you've had him in the building before. But you bring in a group of veterans now that are, raise the competition level. Let's figure out who 6 through 8 are, figure out who these versatile guys are. And obviously 3 guys there that have played for good teams in the recent past and been good enough to make those rosters and rotate in onto the field and play on offense. So,
I'm totally fair. All right, let's wrap up this week with some good news. If you have any good news in the chat that you want to share with us, please share your good news so we can end on a high note for this week. Here we go. That's our friends, Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon online. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go. Payne Bone will save you some money in Lebanon buying the new ride instead of buying in Nashville. Just more expensive there. All right, good news time.
Yeah, it is. A lot of things are.
Yeah, right. All right, Friday. Good news. You seeing any good news in the chat to get to?
All right.
Or you can jump into yours.
All right, let's see. Good news. Next good news will be about a new Titan. So the good news is preemptively next week's good news from Roy. He's cheating a little bit here, but okay. It's Good News Friday. It's Good Friday. Oh, it's Good Friday. It is Good Friday.
It is Good Friday.
Not to bone pick Easter or nothing like that, but like I didn't appreciate it being this weekend. It snuck up on me. I have, and it's partially because of my good news, but I got a busy weekend this weekend. I had just gotten back in town, and you're like, whoa, Easter, maybe next week, man. Maybe like right before
next week, doing draft week.
No, I don't
Easter
know.
Be in May?
I don't know. Easter should have been a month ago
when you were out of town.
No,
when do you want Easter to be, Sam?
Probably while I was out of town, to be honest.
Okay.
That would have made the most sense. But, I just I feel like I need to participate in more festivities for Easter, but like I normally would love to go to a nice church service on Good Friday, but like I can't. We'll get to my good news later and I'll tell you why I can't, but it snuck up on me. Anyways.
Well, Noah has a super chat for good news. Maybe you're at it. I think I'm driving to the draft with a buddy of mine on Wednesday. Is there a place to meet up for Titans fans Thursday for the draft? I don't know, but
it's a great question.
But Zach and Jake, Zach Bingham and Jake Evans, our social media manager, will both be in Green Bay for the draft. And so we're getting, ready for all that on the ground coverage right there. So I don't know if there's going to be a Titans meetup or not in Green Bay. I will tell you.
Well, he said he's in Nashville for the draft, though, didn't he?
I don't know. He didn't.
I'm driving. Oh, driving to the draft. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, no, so you're going to Green Bay.
I will just say there. From what I know about Green Bay, there's just not a lot of places to meet.
That seems fair. My guess would be like downtown by the stage is where to go.
It's Lambeau Field. There's no downtown.
People will be there.
Lambeau Field.
Well, I'm just saying wherever the draft stage is, go to the draft stage.
Lambeau Field.
I'm sure there will be things to do there.
Yes. So,
and if you see a Titans jersey walking around, ask, have you seen any other Titans fans? Where are we going?
Yeah. Milwaukee. Where you could go there.
That's not close.
No, I mean, but that's kind of the point. That's the weirdness of like the Lambeau Field is in the middle of a neighborhood. It's like if you put Nissan Stadium in the middle of like Bellevue, right there. So
doing the draft at Lambeau.
Yeah, it's the only place to do it.
Yeah, right. It's not like you can't do it at. There's no music venues or anything like that. You can.
No, it's literally Lambeau Field. That's all. Okay, more good news. Donald about to be an uncle again. Woo! Congratulations to your brother and sister-in-law, or something like that.
Yeah.
Jeff, good news. Mom and I are planning next European trip between Sicily and Poland.
This guy, he just gets back. And he's got a plan. I have nothing but respect for it. Hell yeah.
Tyler, John Cena becoming the 17th-time champ.
All right. Good for the WWE for writing John Cena in as the champion. Me personally.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was rooting for Logan Paul.
They just decide on who that is. Like, it's not like John Cena's.
It's time to give Cena another one.
You know what? Let's just give him his 17th. Why not? Let's see. Oh, hey, Jeff. Also good news. Nico went to UCLA, so we get to crack his helmet for a third time in November when UCLA goes to Ohio State. Ed going to the Lakers game on Saturday.
Playoff time, baby.
Ramon got into the top 15 for the favorite chef sweepstakes. I don't know what that means, but it sounds awesome.
And I'm in, and I want Ramon to cook me food.
Nick,
I have a theory that like a real good chef can literally make anything taste like insane and completely warp your perception of it for the rest of time.
Probably so. Good news for Nick. The Knicks and the Blues start playoffs tomorrow.
The Blues barely got in, man. They barely got in, but they're in. Don't complain about the playoffs. Don't apologize.
Jason, good news. Had a great time at Disney and Universal. Now in Tampa, hanging with the family. Having a great vacation. There you go.
Let's go.
All right, Sam. What's your good news?
Wedding season. Not mine, although it was recently. No, my buddy's getting married tomorrow. So one of my groomsmen from my wedding is right behind me, and so I've got the rehearsal dinner tonight. I'm a groomsman in his wedding as well, so yeah, rehearsal dinner tonight and the wedding tomorrow. So gonna be a fun weekend. It's nice. I get why everybody says like not to do. It sounds dumb because obviously like I just got married, but most people say once you're married, like weddings become so much more fun because you're just like, remember that. That was nice. Okay. And you can just kind of like relax.
Remember when we did that?
Yeah, there's no stress. You just go have a good time. Like go be supportive. So I'm looking forward to my first wedding being married myself. That'll be fun.
Yes. I remember mine.
First wedding being married yourself?
Married, yes.
Oh, okay. See, there you go.
Yeah. It is fun. It is different because you're like, they do like the dance where it's like if you've been married for
yeah.
all right, see you, I'm out. This is mine. Yeah.
Let's get all the married couples to the dance floor. If you've been married for
3 months,
stay out. Oh, see you guys.
That's us. Yeah. No. Well, there you go. It's fun. My good news is I've got a month of growth here.
Nice.
And my good news is that I feel like my mustache is a lot stronger than I expected it to really be. And I think if A to Z had a mustache contest between you, me, Easton, and Zach, I don't think I would win.
I would lose.
I think I'm second place.
I would lose. And granted, I'm like trimmed here recently from like the barber, but like I can really grow right here, like the goatee area right here. That my dad's got that. He gets that really strong. I can get the beard pretty good. The mustache is it's weak. It's weak. I don't get it as strong as I would like it. I can't like you have the option to go and just be a mustache guy if you wanted to. I don't have that option.
Yeah, I didn't know that until like now. I didn't realize that. This is the longest I've ever gone with letting this thing grow out. And Toff says his beard's too patchy. Yeah, I'm aware.
Hey,
I'm aware.
I told you, I gave you the pep talk when I got done with Survivor. Survivor was the first time that I had ever spent time not shaving regularly, because I would always get to that spot where it was just uncomfortable and didn't look too good, and I would shave it. Well, didn't really have a choice. So didn't shave for a month while I was on the island. Got off the island, looked in the mirror, was down 30 pounds, was tan as hell, had a shave, had a full beard going on. I'm like, I look like a different person. What's going on? First time I hit a mirror. But it like back then I was like, well, now I'm gonna keep going a little bit. And I kept it going for a couple of weeks after I got off the island, because I was so skinny that I didn't want to shave and be so skinny so that I would look like I was 18. And so I was like, no, I'm going to keep it going a little bit. And then when I had my barber trim it and keep it, I was like, all right, now this is working. So I think you're about to hit that threshold where like more of it's going to start coming in here, like right around that month mark. And then I think if you try to get it taken care of and try to trim it up a little bit, it'll start looking pretty good.
I doubt it.
So it's not over for you.
Oh, it's not. It just shaving my face is so low on my priority list.
Yeah, so I'm maybe shave and then just keep the mustache or something and or keep the goatee. You might be a full goatee guy because you got that.
No, the chin's very thick here. Now, this is my favorite comment of the day. Donald says, I look like my own evil twin right now.
Yeah.
One of our A to Z advisors said I look like Don Quixote.
Yeah.
So I'm the evil twin version of myself right now, which I think is kind of fun for a period of time. But I would prefer, I don't want to be this. I would rather shave, but that's just not where I use my time.
I'm not going to accept that. Like, I'm not going to accept you just shaving and showing back up shaved. Like, I need at least a transition period of letting the goatee be the thing for a little bit.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You try it for a couple days, and if it doesn't work,
a couple days is a commitment to something that you're not really sure about.
You can shave it off,
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll see. What am I going to do for the draft? Maybe we can do a bet. Maybe we can have a bet for the draft. I
think we need to have a bet for what the Titans do at.
No, 35. Never mind. Never mind. I don't want to go against I've already made a rule years ago that I will not bet anything that includes facial hair. So that's all.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could bet on 35, and if you're wrong on 35, then Monday's show with Zach you have to do with the goatee or something like that.
I've already made a rule, and I want to stick by my guns. I will never bet facial hair in my life ever again.
Yeah, this is important as well. Kick it to the king came in with a super chat. If Cam Ward can get anything on a Burks, then came to the Hall of Fame. So already would speak wonders to Cam Ward. But what number is he wearing? 1? That seems to be the vibe, yeah? That's what he hinted at. Did he? Is it retired? It is retired. So no, he's not wearing one. He hinted at that. He tried to hint at it. His Fortnite stream, he was like, "Ooh, I like that jersey number. I like that," because he was wearing the Fortnite skin with a Titans #1 jersey on it, and he was like, "I like that." And then
I don't know what he's gonna wear.
I mean, let's take that bet right now. Let's not we don't have to bet on anything, but let's walk through it because he was one at. Let's see what were his college numbers.
Washington State, I believe he was also 1.
Cam Ward, obviously 1 at Miami. Washington State, he was also 1.
Incarnate Word was 7.
Okay.
7's available.
Malik Willis. Gonna wear the Malik Willis number?
There's Zach Mettenberger. Billy Volek.
So no, no 8 and no 10.
Agree.
Well, he can't wear 8 if Levis is still on the roster.
But also don't, because it has not worked out very well.
So what is hang on, let's go through the roster real quick. Sorry to, delay the show here, but this has actually got me intrigued a little. All right, well, no 0, Calvin Ridley. No 2, Tajay Spears. 3 is off the board. Johnny Hecker wears number 3.
Johnny Hecker would give it up.
Probably. 4 is back on the board because Stoney is gone. So 4 is available. 5 is available. 6 is taken by Joey Sly.
He would also give it up if Cam Ward.
7 is available. Levis has 8. Brandon Allen wears 10. So 8 and 10. Sly would give it up, you were saying. Yeah. Levis and Allen are 8 and 10. So 9.
9
also
is retired.
Not available. Retired. 11 is Van Jefferson. 12 is Mason Kinsey, who would probably give it up for for some cash.
You're saying, mate, you know that Mason would give it up.
I got Mason Kinsey would probably be like, for the right price, Cam, it's all you, big dog.
Yeah.
Prochet's in 13, Colton Dowell's in 14. I don't expect him to go any higher than that. So 7 seems
I don't like 7's an ugly number.
I don't love it either, especially because it was like, I think of Malik Willis when I think of 7. 4.
I think he's in a tough spot. I don't like any of it, to be honest.
4. I like 4. All right, chat real quick. So 4 or 7. If it had to be 4 or 7, it can't be 2. Would Tajay give up 2? I don't think so.
No, Tajay just got to 2.
Yeah. He just went 2-2, and then I don't think he would just give it up like that.
I think it would be 7 because he's worn it before at Incarnate Ward. I don't like the jersey options that he's got.
Interesting. I mean, who's the most likely? So if he were to go off of 4 or 7. I think
11's interesting, as Christoffel brought up.
I
agree. I disagree with the screw Van Jefferson because Van Jefferson's a good dude. But Van Jefferson can go do something else.
Well, let's see. Let me just look at Van real quick. Van. Yeah, I mean, he's worn 3 different numbers. So he was 12 with the Rams, 15 with the Falcons, and was 11 with the Steelers last year.
Yeah.
So maybe
Cam Ward wore 7 in high school, apparently. So he's only worn.
That seems like the most likely option.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 7. I don't like it though.
Interesting. Well, there you go. We just solved the case.
Moon can give his blessing to Ward for 1. He could.
Is that how that works?
It can work.
What do you mean?
Like, if there's a jersey number that's retired, the player who's like can say, you know what, I would be honored if the guy wore my jersey number.
Do we think that happens? Probably not.
I don't know. I mean,
is it Orlando CW7 has a nice ring to it? I don't know about that.
I disagree completely.
I don't think CW7 has a ring to it at all. 7 is Vic too, which There's one.
So what does
person
that have to do with anything?
It worked out for one person. I don't know another quarterback that wears 7 that
Roethlisberger.
Yeah, which there's been some comps there.
There's 7. 7's been worn.
No, but like successfully, right? Like a good quarterback to wear 7. Roethlisberger. Elway. Yeah. Okay.
Not bad. Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
I just don't like it. I just don't like it in the Titans.
Maybe he'd lean all the way into the Brett Favre comps and wear 4.
Yeah. I think it's 1 or 11.
The 7th ward. I like that more. I like that more. I like that one more.
CW7 is terrible.
7th ward can work.
7th ward is great. Yeah, we can play with that. All right.
That's
it for us on this Friday. Hope everybody has a great Easter weekend, a safe Easter weekend. Make sure you do us a solid and hit that like button before you go. And next time we see you, it's going to be draft week. Get ready. Draft week time coming up, and we'll have more content coming out as we get closer and closer and all the draft reaction. Everybody have a great weekend. Appreciate it as always. Talk to you guys.